Hey guys, I'm Hailbot and welcome to another Super Mario Sunshine DS preview for Serena Beach. And yes, I'm making another preview video for this level because this level has changed so much since the first video I made 3 years ago that it is almost unrecognizable compared to what it looks like now. I will also be going over a few other challenges I had to overcome while improving this level, such as bug fixes and new objects. However, before I get into any of that, I need to quickly go over a few changes to Delfino Plaza first. To start things off, I want to address something that's not really exclusive to Delfino Plaza. That being, Mario now uses his voice clips from Super Mario Sunshine. This was done by Shane MGD, and it still is in the works, so keep in mind that the voices that you hear right now for Mario are not exactly going to be the same voices that you hear in the final release of this project. Moving on, the first visual change for Delfino Plaza I want to show off, starting with the more minor things, is just some small things like shading on these bouncy roofs and just some texture fixes. You can't really even see them, and you probably didn't even notice them, but they're fixed now, so that's good. The next thing I want to address is the new Skybox that I have. Compared to the old one, it is less pixely, it has more details, just stuff like that. Also, on the old one, the sun kind of turned into a black hole on some levels. I'm not really sure what was causing that, but this new one doesn't do that, so it's all fixed now. To kind of complement the new Skybox, I made it so that the ocean extends way further out into the distance, so that it doesn't just look like Delfino Plaza's ocean just cuts off within view of the player. It actually looks like it goes on for a long way. Next thing I want to address is, you may have just noticed it, but there's more over here that are more interesting. The new background elements that I've added. So now you can see Rico Harbor, Pinna Park, Rona Mountain, and the Delfino Airstrip from Delfino Plaza. Just kind of helps make the place feel more accurate to the original. You can see Delfino Airstrip off in the distance. I think it was visible earlier, but now you can get a better view of it. Real quick, I'm going to give a good look at the level, so you can get an idea of what it looks like now, compared to what it looked like before. Another fun little fact about these new background elements is that they don't actually use any textures, which is good because I didn't have enough space for new textures. There wasn't enough room in the DS's memory, so they just couldn't be added for the longest time. But now they are added, and they use only vertex colors, no textures. And that helped kind of give them color that they needed. But anyways, that's enough for Delfino Plaza. Time to move on to the main level of this video, Serena Beach.
Okie dokie.
So this is the current version of Serena Beach. As you can see, it's changed just a little bit since the first time I showed it off. Actually, if you've been watching my videos, you may remember some of these changes from a previous video I made about visual updates for Super Mario Sunshine DS a few months back. However, even if you have seen that, there's been even more visual improvements to this level, such as this new Skybox. I custom made this new Skybox using the original level Skybox as a reference, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Next, the Minimap has been updated. The original Minimap was using a completely unshaded version of the level so it needed to be updated. And lastly, all that's left for visual updates to this level are these 3D trees. And I would hope you know how trees work at this point, so no further explanation is needed. And that pretty much addresses all the new changes to this level. That you can see! Yeah, that's right, I make changes to levels that you don't even notice happen, and I want to address them because a lot of time and effort goes into making these changes that you can't see, and they really improve how the game feels to play. The first of these issues that I'll address is disappearing quads. Basically, this is when a face on the model bends too much, and it disappears when run on a real DS and sometimes on some emulator. Another example is with the collision model. It can be a little tough to understand, so I got Yoshi here to help explain it. Did you know that the surface Yoshi is walking on is actually a different level model than the level model that you see? Yeah, there's actually a second level model that gets loaded into levels. It is invisible and it is used to tell if the character is colliding with something like the ground. In the case of Super Mario 64 DS, it is also used to tell what type of a surface a face of the collision model is, which is how the game knows to play a different sound effect if Yoshi is running along a stone path, or if he is frolicking through flowers. So that's great and all, but how has the collision model changed since you guys last saw it? Well, for starters, the collision types that I demonstrated earlier have been polished up. Another thing is that this map never really had any boundaries, so I've added invisible walls all around the map. Invisible boundaries help keep your prisoners contained without them realizing that they're actually contained. They also help keep players from going out of bounds and falling through the world. That's why I added it. And lastly, I fixed up some missing collision. This added collision for the leaves and the trees, and also patched up a few walls and floors that you could previously accidentally go through. This also helps keep your players from escaping your world or falling through solid objects. Moving on, this is now the inside of Hotel Delfino. As you can see, it's gotten a massive shading overhaul, as well as some texture improvements. I'm just going to walk through a few of the rooms in this hotel to show off the new shading, and as I pass by some of the noteworthy things, I'll be addressing them. The first thing I want to address is the secret passages in Hotel Delfino. Pretty much all of the secret passages that were in the original version of Hotel Delfino are in this version. Next we have this Boo poster, which really the only thing changed about it is the backside now more closely represents that of a mirror instead of having the poster on both sides. I obviously can't do reflections, but this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Next, all of the beds in Hotel Delfino have been given Pants 64's bouncy collision, which means you'll bounce if you step on them, and you'll bounce higher if you hold down the jump button when you bounce. The boos have been given a new texture. I actually can't remember if this was in the last preview or not, because this new texture has been in the game for a while now, but it was given to me by SolarZ to put into the game, sorry dude, in order to make the boos more closely represent that of the boos in Sunshine. So a fun new object I decided to put into Hotel Delfino was the trap tiles. They function a little bit differently in this version, but I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. All of the textures on some of the floors had to be redone in order to make these objects work, and the entire collision model for this stage had to be remade as well. But the end result is pretty good. Trap tiles are slightly darker than the textured tiles around them. When you go away from them, they'll actually respawn and come back. The last thing I want to address is NPCs. So all these visual updates that have been made to this model have actually freed up memory compared to the old model, and now I can have NPCs in this level. They're really new, so they don't really have an intended purpose yet, but at least now you can expect to see NPCs in all 3 of the Serena Beach areas. That about covers it for the hotel. Now let's move on to the casino. So this is the new casino. As you can see, it's got new shading and a new collision model as well, just like the other 2 models. And just like the other 2 models, the better optimized visual and collision models have allowed me to have NPCs in this level. You can expect to see these guys here as well. Other than that, the music is new compared to the last time I showed off this level, and it actually, that goes for all of the other 2 levels too. But that pretty much goes for every level in the game at this point. Pretty much all the music is done. Anyways, with that said, that pretty much covers it for most of the additions for Serena Beach. I hope you guys liked what I showed off. If you want to see more development streams, you can follow me on Twitch, and if you want to get more frequent updates on Sunshine DS, you should definitely subscribe, and maybe even join my Discord server. All that is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in whatever I do next. See ya!